You're listening to Market the Brew, a leading resource for promoting and marketing craft beer. Join in as we share with you, straight from the source, tools and strategies craft brewers from around the country are using right now to achieve significant success.
Hey, Chelsea.
Hi there.
Thank you for meeting with us tonight.
Yes, super excited to chat all things beer, baseball, breweries.
Woohoo! And the perfect time this summer.
Right.
Yes.
So I'll start by asking you to introduce yourself and the business you're representing.
Absolutely. So my name is Chelsea Roessler. I'm coming from the Milwaukee Brewers. I'm about a half a year into my role as the Director of Hospitality Marketing for the Brewers. And it's just been awesome so far. So I'm talking to you guys today about our Leinenkugels Barrel Yard, our new restaurant and brewery at AmFam Field. I'm excited to dive in.
And it's been really cool because I think the last 1 or 2 years, it's been empty. And as brewer fans, we've always wondered what's going to go in there. And then as beer fans, when we saw it was Leinenkugel's Barrel Yard, we got really, really excited.
Yes, and I share that same sentiment. So it was, as we all know and love, TGI Fridays in that space for a long time, and that had run its course. And so it's just a really cool use of the space to get an actual brewery in this beautiful restaurant space overlooking left field. So yeah, I'm just as excited.
And it makes sense to have a brewery inside of our baseball field here in Milwaukee.
Yes, absolutely. The token line is the Brewers got a brewer. I'll work on it.
So at the Barrel Yard, what would you describe it as? Would you describe it as a brewery, a restaurant, both? What can people kind of expect?
It's a good question. I like to call it like a brew pub, but a little bit more elevated. So it truly is kind of this cool eclectic mix of restaurant first, brewery second, but it doesn't make brewery, it doesn't come in second by any means, but it just means there's some really good food that you can eat with your beer. So absolutely. And there's an on-site barrel system. So it's truly an innovative way to have a restaurant in a ballpark. So I'm getting ahead of myself. Okay.
No, that's okay. No, that's perfect.
So, I mean, when you had like a date set for the opening day for Barrel Yard,
yeah,
did you guys open on time, or was there any like kinks in the road, or?
Good question. Definitely some kinks in the road. So COVID had a big part of that. This idea had been born a long time ago with Leinenkugels and the Brewers. So Leine's and Molson Coors is a huge partner of the Brewers, and they had always wanted to do something. And so the idea was planted a long time ago, and it was like, okay, we're getting to 2019, 2020, and it had to be put on hold. Just the climate of, our beautiful earth. So they're like, okay, if we're going to do this, we're going to do it right. And so they had aimed for a 2023 opening, and it was like, it's either opening day or nothing. And so it was a crunch time, and opening day for the Brewers was actually opening day for the Barrel Yard as well. Wow. So we've been open since April 3rd, and it was a sprint to the finish line. It was super cool seeing, like, okay, today's the day. All the, the kettles are coming in, like everything else doesn't matter. Get these bad boys in here. So it was a huge lift. We worked with Hunzinger 360, a lot of really cool local partners to make it happen. And they were all invested in this, to be successful. So super cool that we met the opening date. I didn't know if it would happen, but it happened. So.
Well, it was just so hyped up too. Like we kept seeing on social media, like all the videos on Instagram, and we were seeing Charlie Barron's get involved, and then Christian Yelich, and it just got us excited about it too.
Yeah, a lot of big names, and no one hesitated to partner with this space. And I think that speaks volumes on, and I'm on this podcast right now. It's just an exciting space and kind of a breath of fresh air for the Brewers and for Milwaukee. So, and it's authentic. I think that's what really makes a difference, is it was really thought out, and it wasn't another bougie bar that, it's truly has some really cool roots in Wisconsin and culture, and it just wasn't done to be done. So I really respect it.
Yeah, like you said before, I mean, it just makes sense to have a brewery inside the home of the Brewers. So I mean, like when people come out of town, they kind of have something to look forward to when they come in and everything too, besides coming to the game. So
Absolutely. It's definitely kind of giving us some street cred in like the tourism and industry even more. The Brewers is the Brewers plane is iconic. People will travel for that, but it just kind of helps extend the stay and give them a full experience of what Milwaukee has to offer with not even having to leave a building.
right.
So definitely like this little entertainment district has started to it's forming inside of the stadium instead of having to rely on like a district outside of the space, which is kind of cool. So,
and it's super special. I think I Googled it, like how many ballparks have breweries, and I don't think there are even 5. I think there's very few ballparks with breweries. So that's super exciting.
It's a handful. You're right. Molson Coors is just really selective on like where does this make sense. I know they learned a lot from Atlanta, like how can this be done well where it's not it's complementary to the user experience, not clunky, and it fits well already. So I that's awesome to hear you kind of saw that stat, because it is kind of staggering to think about. But it just shows it's a big lift for a team to take this on and do it right. So,
and not only that, but the fact that you're actually brewing beer. It's not just a tap room. Like you have the tanks, and it's a real true brewery experience.
Yeah, absolutely. Corinne is our master brewer, and she is fabulous. So it's one of the first female brewers in Leinenkugel's, I guess, in their suite of breweries. I think the last female brewer was one of the family members of Leinenkugel. So super cool. And she has a track record, like an incredible track record. She went to school in Denver. She worked in a few different breweries out in Kansas City, and came here, and it's incredible to see. She's a one-person band. She thinks about it. She strategizes with Chippewa Falls and the team up there, the Leinenkugel's team. And it's just super cool to see like some of the collaborations that are on, ahead up for them. But she just has like, it's just super cool to see someone in their career that it's like, she can just do whatever. Well, there are some girls, but she can be like, I want to make my own take on Corona, and okay, done. She has that platform and it works, so it's trying to think the details. It's a 3 barrel system. It really is limited. You can only get it at American Family Field, which is really exciting. And right now it can only be purchased on site, non-game day, but there's talks about doing a barrel club, and then having that club be the first to be able to take it off site. There's a crawler system that I'm learning about, and I'm like, am I saying this right? Yes, crawler. Yes, you guys obviously know. So like looking into that, is that something that would be viable, or is it a good move? I think it would be. There's a lot of requests to take beer off site, so I think it would work well. So.
I know you have 2 beers right now that she produced. Can you let our listeners know what kind of beers that if they came to AmFam Field, what can they expect at Barrel Yard?
Yeah, so good and bad news. She just brewed a watermelon goza and it's already sold out.
Ooh.
So
oh my gosh.
I know. It's like you fall in love with these beers. It's like it's the name of the game. She's the name of the game. Move on. She has an apple pie lager that's coming out next week, and then there's a really fun collaboration with a celebrity actually that she's doing in 2 weeks. So I know when that comes out, I'll get in big trouble if I say it. And then, so that's in 2 weeks. And then she did her own take, the, like a Mexican lager. That's going to be, released next week. So we got apple pie and, Mexican lager style. So she
Fun.
listens, it's cool. She listens, she'll be in the brewery during games and people will chat and like, oh, I always wanted to try this. And so she has a motto: just because you can make it doesn't mean you should. Everyone's like, I want popcorn beer.
Right.
She's so sweet. Like, that's a great idea. I'll put in the hopper. But she said, there's a huge ask for IPAs for Leinenkugels. And so she's like, fine, awesome. So she's prioritizing now Q3 to do more IPAs, just because we had one, it was called the Double Play IPA, and it sold out in 2 days. So
Oh my gosh.
I can't get attached to it. It's like, all right, I'll drink it and move on. Like,
That's the worst though, when you find a really good beer and then it's only like a limited release.
But what's super cool is Leinie's is willing to, all right, if this is something that is popular, it's shaping their strategy as well,
nice.
which is super cool. So I'm like, okay, maybe the Goza will come back and
fingers crossed.
but it can get refined over time. And I think that's, to have this one woman show shaping, some decision making, it's just super cool. So yeah.
So how has the community responded to the barrel yard?
Positive. I think because the space, it was a big transition. It at first open arms during games. It's exciting to see it hustling and bustling on non-game days now. My role is to, educate the public and community. I'm kind of the conduit for a lot of these different pieces of the stadium, and it's just taken a little time, but people are excited. They love the space. It's like, oh, it's so light and airy. And I remember my days of Fridays when it's like dark and you come and get your Long Island and you leave. It's like you want to stay and they want to experience it. And so really positive. It's honestly, I'm kind of two big surprises. I call them like memory makers. So like a lot of people want to celebrate in the space. Like, oh, I want to celebrate my grandma's birthday here. I want to come here for my kids' quinceañera. They want to like have these memorable experiences in there. And it's really special that they choose us, there's so many choices out there in Milwaukee. So, and then the second is families that have younger kiddos. I have a 4-year-old and he isn't quite a COVID kiddo, but he wasn't around people. It wasn't second nature for him to be around people. And so a lot of families bring their kids into the barrel yard non-game day to have them see what a stadium is and to have them see behind the scenes, and then it kind of like is step one. And then step two is to come to a game. And so totally unexpected opportunity for people to, get to use the space and help their kiddos feel comfortable and understand what are we doing. It's like, so a lot of that actually, which is kind of cool. So more family friendly than than we anticipated. It's very family friendly, but it's truly special to me as a mom too.
So what was one of the hardest parts when opening the barrel yard?
Good question. A lot of preconceived notion on the space with Fridays, honestly. Fridays was like bam, 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 bam. Like I want to be in a corral of humans to get my drink and get out. And this is a total 180. Yeah. Not 360, 180. Then you're right back. Friday. So 180 of that experience. It's meant to be an enjoyable, casual and relaxing restaurant. So not having people get in, get out. So there's so much decision making and thought put into that. And it was tough at first because it was like, okay, we have 300 people mob the restaurant all at once on a game day. And Delaware North, who's an amazing partner for the Brewers, they run all the food and beverage for the stadium. They took on the restaurant, and there's only a few restaurants in the area that can seat 300 people and get their food, and so they are still doing it, and with some hiccups, just learning curve, but they can do it well now, and it's just been super cool to see. Because like, think about that, you have all these tables, different orders, all these servers, so it's this little like well-oiled machine, and kind of super cool to see the we're not Fridays, but we also have to be able to absorb that many people in a single time. Another component that I inadvertently called it, we have a tap room that people can come in during games and grab a quick beer, and so I call it the QB room, the quick beer room. So it's like, we get it, people, you want to get in and out, but
Right.
it doesn't mean that it has to compromise the guest experience in the restaurant. So you can still get your QB quick beer. I need to think of a baseball.
I love that.
Someday. But it's just helped kind of match that energy of, I want to experience it, but I don't want to sit there for an hour. I still want to go to my seat, but I still want, a specialty beer. So.
Well, and I think we were there like the first month that you guys opened, and it was on a game day, and we were super excited. We went, and everybody had those souvenir cups. Like, everyone was just collecting them, and they were cool. Like, we brought some home. Like, I think that might be the new souvenir when you go to the baseball game.
I love to hear that. And this is like the dork in me. I appreciate those cups because they keep your beer cold.
Yeah.
I think they said it was like 1 degree or 2 degrees. It like holds it in instead of it would just, it would escape the beer. And so I run the social for Barrel Yard, and I love seeing, people showcasing their aluminum Barrel Yard cup in the stadium. It's so cool to see, for sure. So.
Yeah, we had a family tailgate, and everyone was collecting them, and I think we left with like all of our family's mugs just stacked.
I love it. Yep, my little guy it's on the bathtub, and I use it to like, pour water on his head. Like, I have a few more that I use to drink, but it's like iconic. Like,
it's multi-purpose.
It truly is. I don't know if I'll market that, but it keeps your bath water too. No, just teasing.
So besides the beer, you guys also have food items. Can you tell our listeners what kind of menu items they can expect?
Yes, absolutely. So the menu is rooted in Wisconsin comfort food. So you are going to leave full, and you're going to want to take a little nap, maybe. If you fully indulge, you'll expect, you can see typical hamburgers. You could see just really yummy ballpark fare, but elevated. There's also incredible appetizers, which I think you guys were able to try. My favorite and the crowd's favorite is our hanging bacon. So it's literal bacon on clothespins on it sounds weird to say it out loud.
It's so worth it.
Trust me, everybody. And it's glazed in this delicious glaze with a potato salad underneath the hanging bacon, and then it drips into the potato salad. And I truly think about it at times, like I'll wake up and I'm like, should I have that for lunch? No, it's easy.
It was so good.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. And then our chef, everything is scratch kitchen. So our chef and team were so thoughtful about it. Almost, I'm like, oh my gosh, like, why are we deciding between this butter and this butter? And he's like, because it's all part of the experience, and it's all the consistency. And so we have homemade biscuits that our team makes in-house, that again are incredible. We have a chicken, it's like a deep fryer, but there's a special word for it, and it'll come back to me. But a deep fryer. We'll just call it a deep fryer. And it creates just this incredibly moist chicken. So there's a supper club chicken plate that you can get. So truly up north meets, I don't know what you say, Bayview. So we're kind of cool. Yeah. I'll throw that in there. I don't know if I can even say that, but yeah. And then such good desserts. There's like churro donuts with this yummy dipping sauce. So yeah, you just can't go wrong. And we just launched a new lunch menu, which I'm tickled about. And we have our featured dish is called Chicken Littles, and it's two sliders, chicken tender sliders. It's so delicious. It's like $10 only. So it's available 11 to 2 Monday through Friday. So
I think we need to go to dinner.
Yeah, sounds so good.
right. So yeah, really just really yummy food. And trying to not be, you don't want to be too far from reality with food. We are in a ballpark, at the end of the day. So I think it was a really thought out menu on, it doesn't need to be too crazy, but also let's have it to be a little bit different. So yeah.
And we talked a little bit about how the Barrel Yard's open on non-game days, so people can come in and dine and see the inside of AmFam Field. How can listeners get a ticket or a table for Barrel Yard on game days? Do they need a separate ticket or a reservation?
So there are a lot of ways to interact with Barrel Yard. So the first way is to buy any ticket to the game. So it could be cheap seats. You could buy a ticket for $6, $18, and then it's first come, first serve, 90 minutes before first pitch. So you can get a seat, or you can get a ticket, and then you can come into the Barrel Yard and sit inside. The second option is we have 2 amazing patios that have been there for years, and we have our home run porch patio and then our bullpen patio. And those 2 tickets can get purchased right in the same space that you would buy a normal ticket. So it's called a single game day ticket. And instead of picking, like loge level, you would pick Jay Leinenkugel's Barrel Yard patio. And what's super cool about them is the ticket is, let's say it's $70 for the ticket. There's a food and beverage credit built into your ticket cost.
Nice.
So instead of having to buy food separately, you can pay right with your ticket. And then the tables seat 4, 5, or 6 people. So it's just good for like a small group. And they are starting to sell out every game.
Wow.
So yeah, it's super cool to see. And it's truly one of the best spots to watch a game. So you're overlooking left field with Christian Yelich, or, the outfield team right there. One of the things the team had to work through where people wanted to come, the players throw the balls, balls out. And so people were like wanting to go out on the patio to get to sit. I'm like, what? You can't be out here. So like very nicely, but so just trying to it was something, it's always happened, but it's happening more frequently. So just trying to oh my, the staff are like, what do we do? Or like, well, you just, so it's those are the 2 main ways for game days. And then another more it's growing in popularity. Groups are booking out our brew room. And so that's about 25 to 50 people that can, it's a larger group. And then it's food and bev can be included. And then there's this beautiful patio overlooking left field. So kind of our 3 main ways. And I really like it because it's just nice, different price points, and also different groups that can experience it. And again, then you're not having, you can tailor what you want to eat. Like maybe you want to come in pregame and have a beer and some hanging bacon and cheese curds, and then go and sit in your seats. Cool, no problem. You don't have to spend your whole time at the restaurant. Or if you're like, no, I love the patio, I want to sit there for the whole game, you can.
I like it that there's different options.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of caters to everybody, every guest. That's nice.
Yeah, absolutely.
So besides the Brewer games and everything, do you guys have any events coming up for Barrel Yard?
Events
separately, I guess.
Yeah. So we have 2 events that are starting to run. We have live in left field, and it's live music on Thursdays. So we just kicked that off. And we're getting local bands in to play either on the patio, or if it's kind of bad weather and the roof is still open. This is my learning curve. It's like, we're indoors kind of. No, it can be really hot or really cold on the patio.
It's true.
So so I booked musicians, and it's like, it is freezing out here. Sorry. So some flexibility on location, but just some awesome local artists that have been booked. So it's non-game days, Thursdays, 6 to 8, and really good lineup. And then we just started partnering with Yoga 6, and we're starting to do pints and poses. We had 3 classes in June and they sold out. So we upped it to like 40 people, and we're going to resume them in July, August, September. So
Awesome.
yeah, and then some bigger fun events, like we're talking about having an Oktoberfest event. We're gonna do a big Christmas event. I hired reindeer. I don't know if my boss knows
Oh
that
my
yet.
gosh.
Now they do.
Now they do.
Major announcement.
I kept thinking of like, oh my gosh, Brood Off. I was like, I could do something with this. So I'm like, I'm just doing it.
Oh my
I'll
gosh.
get
This
my
is amazing.
T's and I's crossed, but getting reindeer sometime in December. Yeah,
Well,
I'm excited to make it, AmFam is already such an iconic part of the community. I'm excited to like even drill down even more and just, I want it to buzz all year round. So gotta do what I gotta do. I'm just teasing.
Well, and that space has never been used the way that you guys are using it. Like there's never been yoga or reindeer or parties there. Like it's just so unique.
What a sentence. I think you're right. I was teasing. Yeah, it's kind of like trying to, you don't have to do something just to do it. It's like, how can we be a true organic part of the community and offer something, if there's 100, if there's 100 beer gardens, we don't need to have another beer garden,
Sure.
but it doesn't mean that a beer garden isn't awesome. It's just, we don't want to oversaturate the market with experiences. So just trying to figure out what is that sweet spot. The GM there and I had a meeting and we were like, what can we do? Could we do like a polka night? And we're like, yeah, let's do a polka night. So I'm like gonna present that to, my boss, and we're like, we're gonna have polka on Mondays in winter, like
Something different.
Right.
Yeah. Or I'm like, oh, we could do bingo. I'm like, oh, that's been done before, but we'll do it. We'll still do it. So no idea is new, I'm realizing, but
That'll
but
be
as
fun.
as long as it feels genuine and part of the brand, I'm excited to do it. So yeah.
So have any of the Brewer players come into the barrel yard yet?
Yes, Yelich hosted an event in the space. So all the players got in there and tasted, and they did all their mixology, they tasted and tried to do different mixology with the beers. Devin Williams is a big beer guy. I didn't know that. So he wants to do a collaboration. So there's,
fun.
I don't know if it'll happen, but
He's a little busy.
Yeah, a little busy right now. But there's genuine interest, which is just really special to see. So yeah, absolutely. And a lot of the families of the players will spend time in the barrel yard too, which is cool.
That's nice to know that the barrel yard is connected to the Brewers organization. It feels more connected than separate. That's awesome.
Yeah. And I think the Brewers in Delaware North, and there's just so many parties involved that I thought I would have to be more of a conduit on communication, but it's it's happening, and it's just it doesn't feel forced. It's super cool. I like it.
So what has been one of your favorite moments at the barrel yard? I know it's still kind of new, but is there anything that you look back and it stands out to you?
Yes. One of our media days, we had John Leinenkugel, Tony, the president of Leinenkugels, and our head chef, and then Rick, the president of the Brewers. And we were all talking about how can we do a ribbon cutting, or what do we do to just show this iconic moment, even just as like we made it. And so John Leinenkugel is like, well, what if we did a cheers? Like, what if we did a cheers with one of the pilot brews? And so they had done, Leinenkugels had done a remastered red, which was so yummy. And I helped the team, we all poured our different beer, and all 5 gentlemen, just raised a toast. And it was like looking around the room, it was just, people had chills. Like, it was just like, we finally did it. So, and I like drank the beer. I was so nervous. I accidentally drank my beer before we cheered. So I had to luckily a server saw and she got me another. I'm like, I'm so sorry. I was thirsty and nervous. So, I'll omit that part, but the cheers just kind of like, we made it. So, but I did buy a giant scissors and we didn't use it because I was like, well, no. So
Just in case.
But I like the cheers route way better. So
So is there anything next for Barrel Yard?
Ooh, I think big focus is on the pilot brewer, like the brew system. So really kind of getting in a good rhythm on what does that look like so that it's, pushing out something every 2 weeks. And then the Barrel Club, I think we'll aim for an August or September start date for the Barrel Club. That's our next big endeavor. And then retail. So we have kind of 3 big projects in the work, or I guess 2 on top of the beer, but retail is something we're like, should we be doing retail? Do we have, is there desire by the community? And everybody that comes in wants the bartender shirts.
Oh.
Bartenders work. And so one of the
work
bartenders,
uniform.
so the bartender's like, we can get a job here and you can have one. So I was like, oh my God. I was like, actually, that's a good line for
Right.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Oh.
So that's been a huge ask. And then even just getting more involved in, beer passes. So we'll be involved in like pub pass. We just got on the MKE beer pass. So trying to, we're a brewery, and just trying to get in with that brewery scene. But I'm also like, we're kind of like a unique beer unicorn in some senses, like, so. But anybody that I've talked with, it's just, everyone is just so lovely in Milwaukee. So it's like, well, we'll customize it to what your needs are. I'm like, we have like almost 2 business models with game day versus non-game day. So just navigating that. But yeah, so that's some of our big stuff on the horizon.
Wow. Well, we're really impressed with everything that you've been doing. I mean, it's blown my mind how much you guys have done in 6 months. Like, I feel like you guys have just opened.
Yeah. Yes. And the season, we just hit halfway mark, actually. We're in the All-Stars break. So it's been like, it's almost like an infant, like the first 6 months, you're like, it was the fastest, but the slowest when you're in it. So,
yes,
but it's super cool what like true collaboration, that word collaboration, I want to like get tattooed somewhere from this project. Like the amount of different businesses that had to come together and forge their way through this was incredible. So something I'm really proud of. I'm on the tail end of all the stuff to kind of carry it out and hopefully help it be successful. So yeah.
Well, thank you for meeting with us tonight and going over all of our questions that we had for you.
Yeah, this was a treat. I hope I wasn't too off.
No, you were perfect.
So yeah, I'm really passionate and excited about the space, and I'm excited to get more people into, experience it. So.
Well, now after talking about the beers that are coming up and talking about all the food that we can order, I want to go out there for dinner now.
Well, I'll treat you guys. You can come out this week.
Perfect.
Maybe I'm gonna think when the apple pie will be ready. So yeah, lots of fun stuff coming up. So
awesome. Well, thank you so much, Chelsea, for meeting with us. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you guys.
We'll see you soon at the Barrel Yard.
Yes. Cheers.
Cheers.
We've reached the end of this episode, but there's plenty more to keep you busy. For online source materials and proven case studies delivered right to your inbox, sign up for our mailing list by visiting marketthebrew.com. We'll see you next time on Market the Brew.